Famous failures. Stories of successful people who once failed. We all want to be successful. We want to be loved and admired. Yet failure still comes up. This experience is strong enough to make you want to quit and start a new life. Failure is the mother of success. If you're struggling in your life or even looking for small business opportunities, don't be afraid to do something that is new and different and could even fly in the face of conventional wisdom. The worst thing that can happen is a failure, which is a chance to learn and grow. Here is a list of successful people who experienced a massive failure in their lives. Thomas Edison. He had been a master of trial and error. He wasn't scared to commit a lot of errors to succeed. When asked about the many thousands of failures he had when attempting to create a light bulb, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Yet there is more to it than that. As a child, he was thought to be stupid and told by his teachers that he would never succeed since his mind would always wander in the class. It's a good thing for us that the greatest inventor in history did not listen. Elvis Presley. He worked as a truck driver trying to get his record career off the ground. After his first gig paid, his manager told him, "You ain't going nowhere, son. You ought to go back to driving a truck." But Elvis did persevere. His first recordings went nowhere. He tried to join a vocal quartet, and he was told couldn't sing. Finally, his music caught a groove. After all of his failures, he ended up becoming one of the most popular recording artists in history. Michael Jordan. Jordan, who is probably the biggest basketball player ever, was cut off from his high school team. Jordan kept working and keep improving. He formed up a team in North Carolina and became a star college player. Then he played for the Bulls, creating a bunch of titles. Then, in the middle of his career, he took a few years to try out his dream of becoming a professional basketball player. In the end, he failed in his effort to reach the major leagues, but was able to play some good games in the minor league. After a failure, he received his success through hard work. Vincent van Gogh. 4 of his works have sold more than $100 million. He gradually started to develop a reputation when he was still alive, but he also had a lot of critics. He burnt and ruined many of his paintings. He didn't work to overcome his failure and killed himself. Soon after his death, his work began to bring intense critical and financial success. Stephen King. 60 of his novels have published. A lot of them are quite long. At the age of 72, his new releases always land at the top of the bestseller list. He wrote stories as a teenager and college student, collecting a huge backlog of rejected stories he had stored in a large crate. King worked as a rural teacher in Maine when he published his first novel, Carrie. By this time, King had some minor success selling short stories previously, but nothing that anyone could build a career. He threw out the manuscript before his 31st attempt. His wife rescued him from the round file and asked him to try again. The rest of it is history. Abraham Lincoln. With very little formal education, he taught himself and became a lawyer and a congressman. His real rise to national prominence could also be viewed as a failure. In 1858, Lincoln tried to sit in the Senate of Illinois. This led to a series of hotly contested debates known as the Lincoln-Douglas debate. Lincoln lost the Senate election, but he impressed a lot of the right people, even with his loss. So he kept up with the things about politics. He ran for president 2 years later and won. Thankfully, he did not let the lack of formal education, the gloomy career of failure, or the initial political failure ratchet him, and he went on to become one of our greatest presidents. Albert Einstein. He had speech difficulties as a child and considered to be mentally handicapped. As a teenager, he rebelled against his school's reliance on rote learning and failed. He tried to test at Zurich Polytechnic, but he failed again. Einstein buckled down, received the required training, and applied to Zurich Polytechnic again, and, of course, was accepted. A few years later, he had a PhD and recognized as a leading theorist. A few years after he had received the Nobel Prize in Physics, he started to be known as the genius of our modern era. Enjoyed the video so far? Don't forget to press the like button. It greatly helps out the channel. And also subscribe and click the notification bell icon for more content like this.